my name is Fiona Nguyen. I'm an assistant media buyer at M+C Saatchi Performance. I was recently asked this question of what outdated advice about building a career in advertising or marketing do you wish women would ignore now? And for my answer, I think it's slow and steady wins the race, or fit into the system. I think as women, we are very intuitive and have the power to turn that intuition into action. Especially building a career, even from the first few opportunities, women should hit the ground running and not feel discouraged to push the agendas and set up their own paths in the systems.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm an account manager at M+C Saatchi Performance in London. I wish younger women in advertising would stop stressing about getting everything perfect straight away. Perfect job or the perfect performance. Our industry is so diverse, and the best way to grow is to experiment and take risks. I can attribute a lot of my growth from moments of uncertainty and mistakes. Every experience builds skills and perspective you can't get any other way. So I'd encourage younger women in the industry to take that risk.
Hi, I'm Hasna Paracha. I work as an assistant media buyer at M+C Saatchi Performance in New York. I wish younger women in marketing would stop stressing about being perfect or having everything figured out on day one. This industry moves fast and it's constantly evolving, and perfectionism or feeling like you're not experienced enough can hold you back from sharing ideas or putting yourself forward for opportunities and taking initiative. You don't need to have the perfect role or decades of experience or a 5-year plan to make an impact. What makes you valuable is your unique perspective, your creativity, and your willingness to learn and grow. It's also important to remember that growth isn't linear. There's rarely one right answer to a problem. Campaigns will evolve, strategies will pivot, and creative ideas will get tested and refined. What matters most is staying adaptable and being open to learn, adjust, and move forward. This mindset is what builds confidence and long-term success in the industry.
Hi, my name is Sophie Kim. I am an account supervisor at M+C Saatchi Performance based out of New York. I was asked, what's the most important career move you made that didn't look ambitious on paper? And I would have to say that my most important career move would have to be being an assistant media buyer at this company. As an entry-level position at an agency, you might not be tasked with the most extravagant things, but I feel like that has been such a foundation-building time for me. I was the person to go to for data, reporting, building out, reporting out of multiple Excel files, and, briefing our creative team with all the nuances of what goes into a social creative versus programmatic versus search, and writing emails just to say confirm receipt. While they might not be the most glamorous things to put on your resume, I felt that, it taught me the skills to grow into the account supervisor that I am today. Building out reports, looking at data so extensively from as an assistant really taught me how to interpret data and use the data to talk about the client strategy and reassure them about their campaigns, and also optimize their campaigns for their ultimate growth. And so I think that has led me to a lot of skill sets that as an account supervisor I think is essential to have, whether that's building out a performance deck that really captures the essence of their campaigns, or making sure that a campaign is launching with all the essential materials for success. And so, I think that has been the most important time for me, and I don't think I would be the account supervisor that I am today without it. And thankfully at M+C Saatchi Performance, there are so many experts in the industry that not only are so knowledgeable, but essentially they are also so willing to invest in people, and they are so relational. And I think if they hadn't taken a chance to invest in me, coach me, and mentor me, I don't think that I would have been able to grow as an account supervisor, even if I was doing the same exact thing throughout my entire career as an assistant media buyer, growing into an account supervisor. So with that said, and In celebration of International Women's Day, I do want to encourage all the young women in this industry that might just be starting out, fresh out of college, however long it may be, that you trust in the process, that all the tasks that you are doing that might not be as fun might not be as exciting, trust in the process, trust in your skills, that it's going to be such a pivotal foundation for you as you grow into this career in the future.
Hey, I'm Scarlett Irison and I'm the APAC Finance Partner here at M+C Saatchi Performance. For me, taking a break from my accountancy exams was one of the most important career decisions I've made, even though it didn't look ambitious on paper. Instead of pushing through burnout, I chose to step back, reflect and reset my approach to both learning and work. That time gave me clarity about my strengths and what I wanted from my career. Now I've resumed, I feel more focused and motivated, which has made my progression stronger. And I'd highly recommend prioritising yourself to all women out there. I promise you won't regret it.
And for me, that was taking a step back from a supposed dream and restructuring where I would find a best fit for my career where I'm at right now. It didn't look ambitious at the time because it looks like an unacceptance of a failure, but it is ambitious because it's using my intuition to take a leap and make my mark there instead. Being courageous and having faith will always be ambitious. So to all the women out there, have courage, be brave, push the boundaries, take your intuition and turn that into action.
I was also asked what's one way you're helping your team move from doing the right thing to deciding the right thing to do. And my response is, as someone that is early on in my career, and as I've grown in my role, one of the biggest shifts I've made is moving from asking how we do something, so how do I do this, to asking why are we doing this, or why are we doing it this way. Starting with the how had put me straight into just execution mode, just getting the work done. But starting with the why has created space to question the strategy, to better understand the objective, and to make sure that the work we do ladders up to something meaningful. For me, doing the right thing often means being comfortable, pausing, taking a step back, and making sure we're moving in the right direction before we jump into the execution. It's a simple shift, but it's allowed me to be more intentional in my work, more strategic, and ultimately deliver stronger outcomes.
Hi, I'm Nirada from M+C Saatchi Performance, and I work as a senior account manager. So I was asked, what's one way you're helping your team move from doing the thing to deciding the right thing to do? Early in my career, I noticed how easy it is for teams to get stuck just reacting, launching ads, fixing reports. It feels busy, yes, but not always impactful. As a leader now, I've learned to slow things down, take a step back, start to ask myself one question: what problem are we really solving? That's how I coach my team to move on from just executing tasks to actually owning the decisions. Because my goal isn't to build executors, it's to build decision makers.
Hi, I'm Vaishali and I'm a senior account manager at M+C Saatchi Performance India. I've been with the company for 4 years now. And here are my 2 cents on it. So what I mostly believe in is asking them for a solution. Firstly, right, like not just answer them directly on their questions, but ask them actually what their suggestion is. I really think that helps them decide, and actually that has been passed on to me from my manager within M+C Saatchi Performance, where I was always asked to give suggestions, and my questions were never answered directly by him, right? But I think that has really helped me to rationalize and become someone who's very curious all the time, and just before approaching my manager, still I like to have some sort of an answer, right? The next thing that I really advocate is moving from responsibility to accountability. So I really think that all team members, even the junior most, even if an intern, should be held accountable for stuff, right? So he or she should not be just told what to do, but also on once we can mentor them and let them know how to do it and hold them accountable for it. So even if it is the smallest problem, they know that they have to do it right, and they can't just come to the manager or the senior person in the team and get a steady solution, right? So that really helps them think, is what I believe in. Third thing I think is, again, I don't just pass on information to my team, but I do believe in sharing the whole context with them as well. Involve them in decision making, take their opinion. I think that is, again, very, very important to do. So let them not be silent listeners during a meeting, but also ask them to get involved in the meeting, and that I think will really help empower them and instill that decision making in them and help them rationalize as well. And I think the last thing that I really again believe in, again passed on to one of the senior managers from my team, was to let my team make their mistakes, right? And that is how they will learn. So I used to safeguard my team quite a lot, not letting them make any mistakes, and the account was also running smoothly, but ultimately I learned that I can't do that forever, and that is not helping my team grow, right? So I need to delegate, and I need them to be, again, like a help to be accountable for stuff, and maybe own their mistakes as well. So stop safeguarding your team members all the time is, again, something that I follow.
Hi, I'm Atika, and I work as a search and social executive at M+C Saatchi Performance. I was asked, as AI grows and work becomes less about execution and more about judgment, what do you think women uniquely bring to leadership today? And this is my response. I believe women bring an important perspective to leadership today. According to a recent study by Russell Reynolds Associates, women leaders across all levels are more likely to express concern about AI societal risk and the introduction of bias. Because many women have had to contend with gender bias throughout their own careers, they are often more attuned to AI's bias risk. Women are more likely to advocate for stronger regulations and ask the tough questions needed to ensure safe use. However, there is a significant gap in who is making these calls. Women hold only 10% of CEO and top tech roles at leading AI organizations. But here's what I believe. The leaders who will thrive in an AI-driven world aren't the ones who process the most information or who execute the fastest. They're the ones who can hold space for uncertainty, who see the human cost of a decision that looks perfect on a spreadsheet, who ask, who did we forget to consider? Women bring that, not because of biology, but because of experience. So, on International Women's Day, I'm not just celebrating how far women have come, I'm celebrating how ready we are for what's next.
For a long time, leadership was always associated with being the loudest voice or having all the right answers. But as AI takes over more of the execution work, I think what really matters is judgment, collaboration, and emotional intelligence. I think many women naturally lead this way. We're often used to balancing multiple perspectives, stakeholders, and we tend to be more attuned to the people behind the work, not just the metrics and the numbers. Yeah, so I think combining that judgment and emotional intelligence is something that is very valuable, and is becoming more valuable, especially at this time in the world today.
Hi, I'm Jodie Porter, and I'm an assistant account exec here in the EMEA team at M+C Saatchi Performance. And I was asked, if I was starting out today, what part of the industry would I bet on and why? And if I was starting out today, I'd bet on paid media strategies that focus on boosting user-generated content because it combines authenticity, performance, and scalability. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have fundamentally changed the media landscape, shifting the power to the creators, with audiences trusting real, relatable content more than traditional polished ads. Boosting UGC allows brands to maintain authenticity while scaling reach to highly targeted audiences. It allows marketers to select high-performing organic content and amplify it efficiently, reducing creative production costs whilst maximizing impact. In a world that is constantly chasing speed, women bring something powerful into this space. We are instinctive by nature, and that instinct adds an emotional intelligence to how content is shaped, selected, and delivered. When paired with the speed and precision of paid media, it makes content not just faster, but more receptive and relatable to human beings.